2005 Los Angeles Religious Education Congress. We are so lucky to be here. So let's continue. Let's look on page 29 as we begin these 3 days and call upon the Holy Spirit. And we'll sing verse 1, 2, and 5. Again, it's a mystery. Holy Spirit of God, come fill the hearts of your people, kindle your own love deep within our hearts. Come, Holy Spirit of God. Send forth your Spirit, O God, then shall we all be created, source of all our store, from within us shine. Send forth your Spirit, O God. With your joy and your peace, come with your heavenly blessing, kindle your own fire deep within our hearts. Come with your joy and your peace. By the way, you always do this at the end, but this is Jim Chaloni and his group from St. Bede's and La Cañada. They are terrific. Let's look on page 24, Your Song of Love. And this should be a subject of a presentation that I should do here. It was a grace of God that over 15 years I met and directed Mother Teresa in retreats all over the world. Met her and spoke with her some 70 times at least. And I wrote this song for her, sang it at her funeral in Calcutta, and also at her beatification in Rome. Your Song of Love. May your grace make me whole again. May your eyes make me see again. May your words make me hear again your song of love. May your hands touch the poor again. May your arms hold the sick That's on the new Winter Risen CD. As we begin together, it's a tremendous privilege and honor and joy for me to be here with you, and especially to set this whole Congress off from the beginning here. So I hope and I pray that I will be able to serve you as you deserve to be served. So, I took a sabbatical the year before this for 9 months and wrote this book, The Spiritual Life. And really, it's a story about God. And so, I'd like to begin to tell you the story. When I was 13, I knew that God wanted me to be a Jesuit priest. But it was not in my game plan. And so, to make a long story short, I repressed it for 4 years. But actually, I never really entered the Jesuits. I backed into the Jesuits. And the only reason I did was because, in the end, I couldn't live with myself unless I did it, because I knew God wanted it. So I entered the Jesuits in 1960. I had just turned 18. And in 1960, entering the Jesuits at Los Gatos, California, it was like entering a prison. It was like, there was no TV, there was no radio, there was no newspaper, there were no magazines, and all the talking was in Latin when you could talk, which had a tendency to put a damper on things. But that was the way it was. So there I was, Well, we had a very, very strict German guy as our master novices. So the beginning of 1961, the beginning of my second year, I guess I had just turned 19. The master novices comes to my cubic, 4 Jesuit novices in one room, separated by curtains, and there's a desk and things, and they had running water, which meant you had a pitcher that in the morning you run down and fill up, and then you run back. It's true. So the master novices comes over and stands over my desk. I just turned 19, and I'm reading, and he looks down at me and he says, "Brother, next Sunday, I want to go to my family's house in San Francisco and have dinner." And I don't drive. The head novice is going to drive. Would you like to come along, and you and the head novice can have dinner at your family's in San Francisco, meaning Father Bob Fabing's family, while I go have dinner with my family? And I said, "Oh, yeah, that'd be great." He says, "Okay, there are some rules." "Well, what are they?" He says, "Well, we're going up in silence, and we're coming back in silence. And the head novice is going to drive, and I'm going to sit in the front seat. So you have to sit in the back seat with your eyes closed and your head down on the way up and on the way back, and say 3 rosaries on the way up and on the way back." And I said, I mean, yeah, that's what we do anyway. And then he says, okay, one more rule. And I said, well, what is it? And he says, well, you can't go to your old room. And I said, okay. I mean, that's no problem. Okay, so the next Sunday, about 2 in the afternoon, there we are, driving up to San Francisco. The head novice is driving. The master novice is sitting right in front of me. He's in silence. I'm in the back with my eyes closed and my head down. I'm saying 3 rosaries. We get up to that part of San Francisco, you know, where you start to see the houses, boom, 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 you know, right next to each other like that. Somehow, I open my eyes, I look at those houses. Christ comes in to my very being, into my heart, into my mind, into my body, and says, Bob, do you see the pain in those homes? In those living rooms, in those family rooms, in those kitchens, in those bedrooms? And he shows me the pain in those houses. And he says, Bob, will you do something about that? And I said, okay, Lord. Okay. Took about 3.5 minutes. Closed my eyes, put my head down, kept saying the rosary. And now we have 47 marriage counseling and family therapy centers in the United States, Africa, Central America, called the Jesuit Institute for Family Life International Network. Because that's who Christ is. Because God cares about what's going on in those kitchens, in those family rooms, in those living rooms, in those bedrooms. I've learned a lot. I've told many people I'd much rather be a total liturgical rock star. But Christ has this concern. And so, as the years went on, I spent some good time in Jerusalem. One day, 6 hours in the cenacle there that commemorates the Last Supper. And watched Jesus appear there. And watched all the apostles go, couldn't contain themselves for joy. But as I looked at that, I began to see that there was a difference in the quality of joy that the apostles had. Some of them were, and I began to realize that the ones that were full of the deepest joy were the ones that stayed on Calvary and watched Jesus die. And the apostles who didn't exactly understand what was happening, they read it in the paper. I said, gee, there's a difference there. And I began to say to myself, I want that joy. I want that joy. And I began to realize, Bob, if you want that joy, you gotta stand on Calvary. And you can't abandon Jesus